From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. Leaders from Turkey, Iran, and Qatar have condemned Quran burnings and other desecrations of the Holy Book in European countries. Addressing the annual session of the UN General Assembly in New York this week, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan denounced the acts as intolerable. He also accused populist politicians of fanning the flames of racism and Islamophobia. The Muslim leaders collectively condemned Quran burnings and related actions, appealing for respect, understanding, and the protection of religious sanctity. They also urged Muslims not to be provoked by such acts and to stand together in defending their faith. The Prince of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, urged against compromising the sanctity of others under the guise of freedom of expression. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi held up a copy of the Quran at the UN podium and said that disrespect towards the Holy Book would not diminish its divine truth. The condemnations come amid a rise in Islamophobic incidents in Europe in recent years, including the burning of the Quran in Norway and Denmark. The American Jewish Committee awarded its Human Dignity Award to Mauritanian Islamic scholar Sheikh Abdullah bin Bayya. Sheikh Bayya teaches Islamic studies at King Abdul Aziz University in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. He is considered a champion of religious freedom, peace, and improving Muslim-Jewish relations. He has also been praised for his bridge-building efforts and firm stand against religious extremism. In 2016, he rallied hundreds of Muslim scholars around the Marrakesh Declaration, which he authored. The document rejects the persecution of religious minorities in Muslim-majority countries. He has also spoken out against terrorist group ISIS. Sheikh bin Bayya is the second recipient of the award. The first was Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew, the spiritual leader of 300 million Orthodox Christians. A Massachusetts court has sentenced a 68-year-old woman to 6 months probation for attacking a Muslim city councilor. Joan DiTomaso attacked Maya Jamaluddin at a gas station in the Boston suburb of Melrose last December. Prosecutors said DiTomaso also called Jamaluddin a terrorist Arab and told her to go back to her country. When Jamaluddin's husband heard the commotion, DiTomaso pushed him twice. DiTomaso's lawyer says she was only trying to take a video of Jamaluddin's license plate because her husband had just done the same thing to her car. Jamaluddin, a Melrose City councilor, says the encounter haunted her family every day, including her children, who witnessed the incident. In Massachusetts, 2 Muslim women running for local office have faced targeted attacks on their campaign materials. Aya Al-Zubi, a candidate for Cambridge City Council, discovered her stolen bicycle and torn campaign flyers covered in offensive graffiti outside her home. Worcester City Councillor Etel Hajiai says her home was targeted with a baseball and campaign signs in front of her home were knocked over. On Friday, Hajiai, who is running for re-election, posted a photo of her lawn showing knocked over campaign signs. She says police have not yet taken action on her complaint. In recent years, Muslim Americans have become actively involved in politics. More than 180 Muslim candidates ran in the 2020 elections in 28 states. However, they have faced backlash, bigotry, and violence. Pro-democracy organizations in the U.S. have praised Congresswoman Terry Sewell's revival of the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. The bill is expected to face challenges in the House, where Republicans hold a majority. Sewell highlighted the importance of the bill, saying the nation's democratic heritage is threatened by recent restrictive voting measures. She said the bill aims to rejuvenate and update the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which was weakened by a Supreme Court ruling 10 years ago. Although the bill has unanimous support from House Democrats, it faces several hurdles in Congress. Vice President of the nonprofit Public Citizen, Lisa Gilbert, stressed the critical role of this bill. She notes that numerous laws have been passed recently impeding voting rights for minority groups. Michael Waldman of the Brennan Center for Justice called on Congress to quickly pass the bill. Enrique Tario, former head of the far-right group Proud Boys, predicts ex-President Donald Trump will be convicted of federal election offenses. He said there is a 100% chance Trump will be convicted for his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. Tario was recently sentenced to 22 years in prison for his involvement in the January 6, 2021 violence in the U.S. Capitol. That is the longest sentence given to a defendant in the case. The judge overseeing Tario's sentencing ruled his actions were serious enough to warrant a terrorism enhancement that significantly increased his prison time. Tario says he was not directly responsible for the Capitol attack and was not physically present January 6 because of an earlier arrest. However, he was convicted of remotely organizing the attack. Tario says he has no regrets about his involvement with the Proud Boys. In the ongoing Georgia election fraud trial, 3 people who were indicted told the court they were acting within the scope of a federal authority when they worked for ex-President Donald Trump's victory. The trio is made up of former Georgia GOP Chairman David Schaefer, State Senator Sean Still, and GOP Central Committee Chairwoman Kathy Latham. All 3 claimed their actions were lawful. Their attorney, Craig Gillen, asked that the case be dismissed or removed to federal court. He said the 3 were not impersonating electors, but acted as contingent electors on December 14, 2020. That was the day the Electoral College met to formally elect Joe Biden as the next president of the United States. Gillen pointed out under constitutional law, states can nominate multiple electors. But Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis says they have no legal basis to declare themselves electors. She accused them of engaging in a fraudulent scheme to invalidate votes. Bosnia unearths remains of 1995 Srebrenica genocide victim. Details after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Bosnia Herzegovina has unearthed the remains of a victim from the 1995 genocide in Srebrenica. The Institute for Missing Persons says the remains were found Wednesday in the garden of a house in the city of Burqa in the northeastern region. An investigation has been launched. The bone remains will be delivered to a forensic medicine center for necessary examinations and DNA analysis. They will then be prepared for a collective funeral at Srebrenica Memorial Center. Last week, Bosnian police arrested 5 former Serb soldiers suspected of participating in the genocide. More than 8,000 Bosnian Muslim men and boys were killed when Bosnian Serb forces attacked the eastern town of Srebrenica in July 1995. The massacre occurred despite the presence of Dutch peacekeeping troops. Serb forces were trying to wrest territory from Bosnian Muslims and Croats to form a state. Around 15,000 residents of Srebrenica fled to the surrounding mountains, but Serb troops hunted down and killed 6,000 more people. The bodies of victims have been found from more than 500 places across the country. The Swiss parliament has banned the face covering worn by Muslim women. It includes a ban on wearing a burqa, a Muslim woman's veil covering the entire body from head to toe. Those who violate the law face a fine of about $1,000. The burqa ban was approved by the National Council on Wednesday by 151 to 29 votes. In 2021, the Swiss government held a referendum on the issue. More than 50% voted in favor of a nationwide ban on wearing the burqa in public, and about 48% voted against. Religious services, indigenous customs, and theatrical performances were exempted from the ban. The veil is also permitted for health and climatic reasons. The new federal law has replaced local laws in 15 Swiss cantons banning the wearing of the burqa. France and Belgium were the first countries in Europe to ban the burqa in public places in 2011, followed by Bulgaria in 2016, Austria in 2017, and Denmark in 2018. A forum at the UN General Assembly in New York this week revealed that the Chinese government is reportedly transferring large numbers of Uyghurs from detention camps to formal penal facilities while announcing the closure of those camps. Over the weekend, Chinese diplomats had written to various missions at the UN, warning them not to attend the event where this was revealed. Beth Van Schaak, the U.S. ambassador at large for global criminal justice, called the letter from China's UN mission another act in a series of attempts to suppress the Muslim minority. She welcomed the international community's increased attention to China's atrocities against the Uyghurs. Sophie Richardson, China Director of Human Rights Watch, underscored the importance of the forum and expressed concern about China's attempt to prevent participation. She said the panel's task is to discuss facts that the Chinese government does not want to disclose and that the Uyghurs cannot express. Belen Martinez Carbonell, Executive Director for Multilateral Affairs in the European Union's External Relations Department, said the oppression of the Uyghurs is a very important issue. He said this issue should not be absent from the General Assembly. Sikh and Muslim leaders in Canada are calling on the government to improve security measures for their communities. This is amid suspicions surrounding the murder of a prominent Canadian Sikh leader who was allegedly killed by the Indian government in Canada. Hardeep Singh Nijjar was shot dead outside a Sikh temple in the province of British Columbia in June. Canada is currently investigating possible links between India and the murder. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has stressed the seriousness of the allegations against India, which, if true, would mean involvement of a foreign government in a murder on Canadian soil. India, however, has strongly denied these allegations, calling them absurd and countering claims that Canada harbors Sikh extremists. Relations between the two countries have suffered a setback that has led to the expulsion of diplomats from both sides. Trudeau recently disclosed during his G20 meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi that he had passed on information about possible links between Nijjar's death and Indian agents. Nijjar, who has been classified as a terrorist by Indian authorities, had ties to Sikhs for Justice, a group that advocates for an independent Sikh state in India. The World Sikh Organization of Canada warns that this incident could just be the beginning. It has called on Canada to ensure justice, improve protection for Sikhs, review India's diplomatic activities in Canada, and reconsider intelligence sharing with New Delhi. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.